Hello, I want to welcome you. This is actually a simulcast. I'm recording this for Facebook Live here and for the YouTube channel right up here, University of Hypnotism. So if you want to watch this again, in fact, if you want to check out a whole bunch of videos that I've talked about hypnosis and hypnosis skills, go to YouTube, type in University of Hypnotism, and you'll find a bunch of stuff there. What I wanted to talk about today is I want to sort of elaborate a little bit more on the topic of dissociation and why it is particularly useful in hypnosis. And one of the things I also want to give you with this is an actual feeling of what it's like to feel dissociated. It's a meditation you could consider, or at least an experiment, a mental thought experiment. And it begins by assuming for a moment that all of your memories are in fact false. So I'm just going to plant that right there for a moment. Chase Hughes developed a scale of dissociation in which on the very most frequent type of dissociation would be on one end and the most extreme form of dissociation on the other. The most frequent type and most common type would simply be lost in a thought, not in the present moment. Generally that happens a lot. And as it progresses, it moves to being like having a mind virus where you become obsessed with a thought, usually an emotional worry of something that might happen, and you just keep running it in your mind and it occupies your thoughts. It goes on to further extremes where moments just don't seem real. It's as if you might feel as though you're in an artificial reality for a moment. And going even further extremes, it's when you know you've had experiences but you have no memory of them. Like, you know you went to an event, but you have no memory of what happened there or anyone there. And then the most extreme is having moments of lost time. Those are moments when you are simply not aware of what happened. You have no memory of being in a certain place. I like to joke, it's one of those experiences where you may wake up and you're covered in someone else's blood. But let's hope it does not happen like that. So with talking about the whole levels of dissociation, I want to give you a meditation, an experience, something to really play with. And what you'll notice is when you begin to use this, it does mess with your mind. It feels weird. And I want to explain to you also how this is useful and why it's relevant to hypnosis. So there is an HBO series that just concluded called Westworld, in where they have androids, robots that are in every way human, programmed. And what they have done is they've given, to help operate these androids, they've given them memories. And they're not self-aware, though. They're simply operating off things that are programs in the past. And one of the androids, they're called hosts, but one of the androids is forced to become self-aware. One of the things that was pointed out to her is that all of her memories are false. All of everything that she's known was simply placed in there and dropped into her mind, and she's been running on those things as if they were real. And the result is that she became self-aware. She began to realize that there's something bigger out there. So the experiment I want you to think about is, what would happen if you experimented for a moment, for a time, to just believe that every one of your memories was implanted, was not real, and types of memories that we base strong emotional decisions on. These are the types of memories that we use to build the foundation of our decisions. So, for example, if someone responds to you in a very authoritarian way, it may trigger a memory or a response that's based on a memory of a parent or an authority who, reacted emotionally. Now, if you practice this particular meditation, this particular exercise, and just assume, okay, well, let's just pretend that memory isn't my own. It's not real. I didn't create it. It was implanted in there. A couple of things can happen. You might feel incredibly confused, which is very uncomfortable, of course. But you also, equally, might feel liberated. You might feel a sense of freedom, because the ability to step outside of our memories and those that have based our decisions gives us a huge amount of choices. And that's the thing I want to offer to you, is that when you begin to realize that how you're responding to the world is not really a necessary reaction, but a choice. When you begin to look at the foundations of your responses, which are your memories, and treat them as though they are not real, they are not yours, then you realize, well, how can I respond? Then you have a huge amount of choices. Now, how this relates to hypnosis and to helping people is that when you're doing hypnosis, or even in conversational change work, what you can do is begin to talk to them, to speak to them as though, well, you can introduce this thought, but you want to separate them from the belief that these things are binding them. And in hypnosis, very strong hypnosis is a highly dissociated state. They have an experience, but it's almost as if there is no them there that's taking part in it. And that's different, as I've mentioned before in some of these videos. I've mentioned that is different from trance. Trance is also a dissociated state, but it's highly common. And in hypnosis, you can create everything along that huge long line, that spectrum of dissociated states that I spoke about earlier. So I would love to hear your comments. I would love to have an idea of what it's like if you start to imagine every one of your memories is an implant. It's not real. That you, in fact, have an entirely different history. And this could be very dramatic, because it could be that this history began just a second ago. You just woke up right now. Or it could be a year ago. You realize everything prior to a year was false. Play with it. Now, if you have a chance, I would love to hear your comments and see how you use this. This is one of the things I just like to encourage everyone to do, which is, if you have an idea that's related to hypnosis, try it on yourself, even if it's just a thought experiment like this. If you want to go crazy for it, build yourself an audio hypnosis process and set yourself through it, as well as doing it to other people as well. Lastly, the end of every month, I schedule a hypnosis training, and the next hypnosis training is going to be in this January on the 27th, 28th, 29th, or maybe it's the 27th, 28th, and 29th, and it's in Boise, Idaho. I can schedule in other places, but we're playing it by ear for this moment. I would love to have you contact me about attending it. If you want more information, go to thehypnosisseminar.com and you'll find out all the information. Please tell me your comments, your questions, your observations. I will certainly make more videos about this for you. And thank you very much. I hope you have a wonderful hypnosis experience with this. Take care. Bye.